For over 30 years, Cary Car Care has been the trusted, family-owned auto repair shop serving Cary and surrounding communities. With ASE certified technicians, we handle everything from routine maintenance to major repairs, always with honesty and transparency. Visit carycarcare.com or call 919-380-0040. Cary Car Care, service you can trust.
Rescue Wood Rehab in Fuquay Arena is proud to be your local custom woodworking shop for furniture, home decor, and more. Visit us and maybe spend some time with our shop dog Amber. Rescue Wood Rehab is more than wood, it's an experience. rwrnc.com.
Hi there, and welcome to What's Up Wake.
Spend your day is the only way to take a break with What's Up Wake. Ooh, What's Up Wake?
Presented by the publishers of Cary Magazine, Wake Living, and Main and Broad, What's Up Wake covers the people, places, restaurants, and events, essentially all the cool stuff and great news of Wake County. I'm your host, Melissa Wistahuff. Join me as we find out what's up Wake. Today's guest is someone who lives at the intersection of performance, mindset, and real-world progress. Jody Donaldson is the owner of Alloy Personal Training and is the voice behind the Progress Zone podcast, where he helps people focus less on quick wins and more on sustainable growth that actually lasts. Through his work coaching clients, leading teams, and having honest conversations about health, discipline, and improvement, Jody has built a reputation for turning big goals into practical, everyday action. Today, we're talking about consistency, entrepreneurship, and what real progress looks like, not just in the gym, but in life. Jody, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
And we were talking before we started that you are used to being on my side of things, having your own podcast. So today I get to ask the questions
All right,
to you.
let's do it.
And congratulations, you are one of our Maggie Award winners for 2026. You won Best Podcast and Best New Business. So that's
right.
amazing.
Yes, thank you.
Okay, you wear a lot of hats. I went through some of the hats in the introduction. You're a trainer, you're a business owner, podcaster, author. How do you introduce yourself if someone comes up and asks, so what do you do?
Yeah, that's a great question. And it kind of depends on the situation I'm in.
Mm-hmm.
Excuse me, I do wear a lot of hats.
Mm-hmm.
There's my day job is I work in state government. On top
I didn't
of everything
know that.
else.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so the entrepreneurship with the gym and the franchise is one piece, but then there's this other side of it that I really enjoy, which led me to writing the book and then starting the podcast, which is based off the book, just unlocking your full potential and progressing it a little bit every single day.
What originally pulled you into the fitness world, though, and helped you start being a personal trainer?
Yeah. So we moved down here about 5 years ago from Northern Virginia, outside DC.
Mm-hmm.
And up there, I ran a real estate business for a long time. So I was self-employed, had a real estate business. And then when we relocated, I took the job with the state. My wife had a job as well. But I always had that itch of what do I want to do now that I'm down here and getting settled. And so I got with a franchise consultant and started looking at franchises. Did my due diligence, checked with a lot of different brands. And where I kept going in that process was if it's something that I had to step into full time, what would I enjoy doing?
Yeah.
And fitness is part of who I am. I enjoy it. I know not everybody enjoys it. Mm-hmm. It's my mental health to do. And so I just thought this is something I can do. And then of course, when I looked at the business model and met the team in Georgia, it just all aligned and really felt like a perfect fit.
Your podcast is called The Progress Zone. That is also your book's name, right? The Progress Zone. What does the Progress Zone mean to you? And why did you feel compelled to build a podcast and write a book on this idea?
Yeah. So a couple different things, kind of the inspiration for the book. So I have older kids that are launching into their adult lives. Mm-hmm. And I see a struggle too with everybody feeling like they have to know what they want to be when they grow up, right? And it starts early. And I think we don't know, right? I mean, I'm in my 50s and I still am learning every single day and growing, and I love that. But I feel like and maybe it's the age I'm at where I've talked to a lot of people that just feel stuck whether it's in the relationships, whether it's in their jobs, whether it's in their just fitness journey. And so what I wanted to do was like, okay, what could I do? I've done a lot of leadership courses over my career and different things. And I said, I wish there was a tool that I could have when I started on networking, strategic communications, mindset, financial literacy, just some basics. And so that was kind of the premise for the book. And it's not a storybook, it's really a guide. So you can pick a chapter on networking and why that's important and how that can help you in your career if you're stuck. What are some things you can do right now? Join a chamber, do something to build that network. And so that writing the book, I wasn't expecting it, but I got a lot of great feedback and a lot of people saying, this is what I needed to hear.
Mm-hmm.
And folks said that, I could see this being a podcast based off what you wrote in the book and
So the
talking
book
to different
came
people.
first.
The book came
Okay.
first.
Mm-hmm.
And then, so that's kind of how the podcast launched. So I interview, entrepreneurs, CEOs, fitness specialists, doctors, anything from entrepreneurship to just mindset, health and wellness, things like that.
One common theme that I have found having this podcast, and I'm assuming you have found as well, is something that you already mentioned that you did in your own life. You took a step back and thought, where do my passions lie?
Mm-hmm.
Because I found that people that have businesses that are hobbies turned into businesses are the ones that have become the most successful. Do you find the same to be true?
So it is a passion to do what I'm doing on the podcast, but also the gym,
The
is
personal
something,
training,
the personal
yeah.
training piece of it. Now, I'm not a personal trainer in there. I have a general manager that runs the studio, so it's
gotcha.
It's
Okay.
really a business investment.
Yes.
But it was something that I felt like also contributed into making people better every single day.
Yeah.
Right. So to me, the passion is making opportunities for folks to be a little bit better tomorrow than they were today.
After hosting your own show, what is one lesson or mindset shift that surprises you the most?
I think from people I've talked to and interviewed, I feel like folks just get stuck in the overwhelmness, right? We are in our phones, it's like 2 seconds of instant gratification and it's constant scrolling that I feel like people just get overwhelmed and don't know where to go. And so you don't have to be perfect to make a decision or to make a little progress. Just have motion forward. Small, consistent steps over time will build that momentum. And you stack those little wins to then get that momentum for long-term and sustains. Because we all need to be taking care of ourselves. It's not fun for everybody. But if you start small and don't set big expectations, like I'm going to go to the gym 5 days a week or, start it
Like the
with
normal
realistic.
New Year's resolution type of
Absolutely.
lofty goals. Yeah.
Yep.
That
And
so
most
many
New Year's-
people fall out of.
You're right. Yeah. Most resolutions end by the second week.
Yeah.
Because people are like, it's a fresh start. I've got this mindset of, I'm going to do this, this, and this. But they don't create a space for that to actually happen sustainably, right? They're like, I miss the first week of the gym. I missed the second day. Well, they're like, oh, the week's
Now I
ruined.
feel like you're just offending me personally. It's like you sense that I've already done that.
Look, we've all done that. We've all done that many times
Yeah.
over our life. If you've lived life, it's hard. Life gets in the way, jobs get in the way, kids get in the way.
The normal
It's-
busyness of life.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yep.
Are there common mistakes that you hear people make when they're talking about progress, especially in fitness or in their own just personal growth?
Yeah, I think part of it is if they miss a day or if they miss something that was a step in that progress, it's almost like a failure in their mindset. Like I failed. Well,
Yeah. And
progress,
just totally give up.
right.
Yeah.
Right. And so what happens is they've just stopped any momentum that they had built, and progress is a lifelong thing. We all need to be, our future self is hoping that we are progressing right now,
Yeah.
so that we are showing up better later in life. And so I think people just they too quickly just give up because they're like, oh, I messed this up, or I missed this workout. I'll start next week, instead of, nope, I'll go tonight or tomorrow morning and pick right back up.
So speaking of personal training, how would you describe the training at Alloy to someone who has never gone the personal training route before?
Yeah, I love this. And this is what I really loved about the concept is it's small group personal training. no more than 4 to 6 people at a time in the session. It's individualized. So we start everybody off with what's called a starting point session, where they come in, talk about their goals. We put them on the InBody machine, which is a body composition scan. It kind of tells you what's going on inside your body.
Oh, that sounds intimidating,
Well,
actually.
yeah, it could be, right? But it's
Yeah,
also
yeah.
just a marker to where we kind of like, here's our baseline of where you're starting from. We'll talk about goals, injuries, and do a functional movement screen to kind of see how the body moves. All those notes go into our system. So when they come for their session, if there's modifications to the workout based on like an injury, a shoulder injury or a hip injury or whatever, the trainer can make those modifications for that person. So that's where the individualized piece is. The other thing about it that is unique that I like is that one-on-one personal training is very expensive. Being the small group, 4 to 6 people, it cuts that cost by like a third. So
Oh,
it makes it
gotcha.
way more
Yeah.
affordable for people to get started and make health a priority for them.
Life is about relationships. At WakeMed MyCare 365, we're about relationships too. Relationships that are with you every dance step of the way. Primary care, urgent care, and more every day of the year. All from a care team that's near you and knows you. Walk in or get a same-day appointment. Visit us online today and make MyCare your care.
Mark your calendars. The Apex Love Local Showcase returns on Sunday, April 26th from 11 to 4 in downtown Apex. Spend the day discovering the best local businesses, all in one convenient location. Enjoy samples, take advantage of exclusive promotions, and discover your new favorite spot. Sip, shop, stroll. How will you choose to love local? Visit apexnc.org/showcase for all the details. Welcome to Podcast Carry, professional podcast studios with more than 50 shows making podcasting simple and fun. It starts right on our website. Pick a time that fits your schedule, tell us what you're working on, and we'll take care of the rest. You focus on the conversation. We handle everything else. Because starting a podcast should be fun, not complicated. Come see how easy it can be at podcastcarry.com. Spring is in the air, and there's no better way to celebrate than at Cary's Spring Days Arts and Crafts Festival. Join us Saturday, April 25th from 9 to 5 at beautiful Bond Park for a full day of art, music, food, and family fun. Explore one-of-a-kind creations from over 170 North Carolina artists. Enjoy live performances, grab delicious bites from local vendors, and take parts in hands-on activities for all ages. Whether you're shopping, relaxing by the lake, or just soaking in the springtime vibes, Spring Days is all about community, creativity, and new beginnings. Bring your friends, bring your family, and don't miss Spring Days 2026.
In your experience, what do you think separates the people who do stick with training long term versus the ones that give up after 2 weeks? Not naming names.
Yeah.
And I'm not pointing to myself right now.
That's fair. No. It's really the mindset of this is a lifelong thing I need to be doing.
Mm-hmm.
Whether it's at Alloy or whether it's anywhere else, at your home, you've got to be doing something. And, there's a lot of momentum around longevity right now and stuff. And so, the Dr. Peter Attias of the world and everything talk about the last decade of life. Do you want it quality more than just years, right? So how do you make the last 10 years of your life the best quality they can be? Well, it's not too late to start strength training, and resistance training has proven to be the most effective thing you could be doing right now. Yes, you can do cardio and yes, you can do other stuff, but strength training is so important because we lose skeletal muscle mass over 30 every year. And so if we're not building
keep on reading about that because of perimenopause. I'm in that journey of life right now.
Yeah.
And I keep on hearing about the importance of strength training during this time because of the loss of muscle and bone.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's so huge. Mm-hmm. And if people feel like, well, I'm in my 50s, I can't start. No. I mean, our oldest member is 83. She kills it. Every week she's in there consistent. And so back to the question of what makes them successful, I think it's folks that know that this is a lifelong thing, so they make it sustainable. What can I do? 2 to 3 times a week? That's doable. I can maintain that. Can I make a better food choice one day, one meal out of the day? Can I go walk for 10 minutes instead of try to run for an hour, right? Like break it down. And so I think it's those two things, the mindset, knowing that this is long-term, this isn't a quick fix. and to creating the environment, whether it's putting their clothes out the night before the workout, scheduling their sessions so they know it's Monday, Wednesday, Friday, type of thing. And that consistency, I think, is where the people that are most successful, they've created those habits.
So speaking of mindset, how much would you say something like a training journey is mental versus physical?
I think it starts mental,
Yeah.
right? Because I think you've got to get in the space that I need to be doing this, right? All of us need to be doing it. I mean, that's no secret, right? It's not fun for everybody. So I think just getting over that mindset of I've got to do this. So how am I going to make it work for me? What do I need to do to make my environment the best it could be so that I'm successful in stacking these little wins of showing up and proving to myself that I can show up for myself, right?
And that goes really with anything. And I guess that's where the progress zone steps in. It's not just physical health and exercising and personal training. It's really any facet of your life.
Absolutely. I mean, chapters of the book, like on like strategic communications, like if somebody's feeling stuck in how they communicate at work or in their family or however they want to do it. I mean, there could be tips in there to say, here's what I can do now to maybe look at myself a little bit more and practice some of the tips in there so that I can get better and communicate better. Same with financial literacy. If you don't have a basic knowledge of, Roth IRAs or 401ks, what can you do to learn about that? Here are some steps to do to go get that information and help you progress in your financial literacy. So it applies to everything.
So when motivation drops, as it does for everyone at one point or another, what do you encourage people to lean on instead?
Yeah, motivation is emotional, right? And that's going to come and go. I think it's they need to lean on knowing that they've got to show up for themselves. And so I think if they've created some of those habits and got that mindset that I need to do this for me, carve out that time, schedule it like you would any other appointment. I think that's where they got to lean on, right? It's got to be rinse and repeat. It's got to be on an automatic system. You don't need to think. If you start having to overthink it, everybody gets, fatigue, decision fatigue and everything else. So I think it's just really setting up your environment, practicing those habits. And then when you're like, I'm not motivated to go to the gym, you know what, I need to, because it's consistency that's going to win in the long game, not how hard I work out today. So if you don't feel like working out, just do something.
Yeah.
Go for a walk, drink your water, go to bed earlier, get off your phone, do
You're
some
naming
things.
all the things I need to work on.
We all need to. It's hard. It's the way we're at right now in the world. It's tough.
Let's talk about your podcast and then your book. What does your average podcast episode look like? Who are you talking to and what are you guys talking about?
Yeah, so I kind of get the guest based on chapters of the book type. So anything in the book, what could we cover? So like I just had a guest that was a former journalist turned CEO now. So we talked about communications and collaboration and networking. I've had guests, CEOs of small businesses and that journey of entrepreneurship, what that looks like. I've had nutritionists talk about how important the nutrition is of the wellness mindset, of the wellness progress. Health and fitness experts, doctors hear about not only the practice, and the work that they do, whether it's chiropractic or physical therapy, or I had an orthodontist, but also to talk about the business side of running a practice. A lot of people don't understand what goes into running a practice.
Yeah. Well, and I think that can be said with any business, because especially if you're of a creative mindset, you don't really think about, but how am I going to do the day-to-day business side of this?
Right.
And that can be so intimidating too, that the person might not want to overcome that or even know how to overcome that part and move forward with starting a business.
Right. And some of that we get into in those conversations, like, what does this look like now? Put your business hat owner on versus your practicing physician.
Yeah.
It's a different piece of the business. But it's so important. And I think one of the goals of the podcast was to get people from all different areas because we can learn so much from each other. And I feel like sometimes you live in your little bubble and you don't really know what's going on outside your bubble, but to hear from different people, to understand what's making them successful, what's making high performers keep going, I think all of that is part of the type of guests that I like to have on the show.
Now let's talk about your book. Your book is called The Progress Zone, same as the podcast, Unlocking Your Full Potential. And I'm going to read this because I read this description on Amazon about your book, and I thought it summed it up well, and then we'll dive into this a little bit. The description says, what's holding you back from unlocking your full potential? Do you feel stuck in a cycle of unfulfilled goals, unsure of how to bridge the gap between where you are and where you want to be? The Progress Zone is your blueprint for success, a proven method to help you develop the mindset, discipline, and strategies needed to break through barriers and achieve real, lasting progress in every area of your life. And so I wanted to read that because I do think it covers, all the things, of course, that are in the book, and it really sums it up. But for somebody who is listening to us right now, and they feel stuck physically, mentally, professionally, emotionally, what is one small step they could take right now, today, to move back their progress zone and put it back on track?
Well, I think it depends on what specific area that they would like to work on. But I think the bottom line is just do something. Indecision freezes people, and time's going to decide for us. The indecision is a decision, right? It's just that now we're going to be reactive to time and whatever's put on our schedule and work and kids. And so I think that you just got to do something. Pick an area. Like you said, just, where do I begin with just drink your water today. Did you get your water today? Check. You did something. Mentally, you're like, okay, I did that. And then you do that 3 or 4 days in a row, and it builds that momentum.
And be kind to yourself.
Absolutely. Show grace.
Celebrate the little wins.
Always.
Yeah, and show grace, like you said.
Yeah. I think a gratitude journal is super important, whether it's on your phone or actually writing in a book. I think just, when you wake up and really just look at, be grateful for what you have and go through that mental checklist of those things. I think it also puts you in that mindset early on that kind of is like, okay, here, I'm going to tackle this day and I'm going to do it. So that if you have a slip up or if you have a bad meal and you're disappointed in, the nachos you ate, then you just recover that evening and you just get your protein and don't focus on carbs, so it's not depriving yourself of anything in any of this. It's really just, how do I be a little bit better tomorrow than I am today? Because I think we owe that to our future selves.
You mentioned earlier about, maybe even a teenager who's going into college, a totally new step in their lives. I've got a senior in high school right now, making college plans. What do you say to that age person who really is about to navigate an entire new chapter in their lives?
Yeah.
And maybe they don't know what they want to do because
100%. No.
I didn't know what I wanted to do when I was 18. Nope. I had no clue where life was going to lead me and what I was passionate about. I didn't know.
And I think that's the majority of the people, right? Nobody knows what they want to do at 18. We're so young and our minds are still growing. Like, you don't really know. And it's really not fair that we set it up that way. And
I agree.
Pick a major and stick to it. And then, because if you are truly a curious person and a lifelong learner, you're going to have different things that excite you and want you to go down that, exploration of, is this what I want to do? So what I would say to them, and this was some feedback I got, which was really surprising from the book, was I had a lot of people who said, I want my kids to read this, because what they could take from that is you don't have to have it figured out, but take advantage of the opportunities as they are. Be in the present. If you're going to college, if your child goes to college, absorb everything that the university offers for you, right? Go to listen to speakers, go, join a group or intramural club or whatever, fraternity, sorority, whatever it is. But these are things that just take advantage of those opportunities so you're exposed to as much as you possibly can. And then that might help steer you in, hey, I really enjoy this. What do I want to do?
And that, I think that's a wonderful piece of advice, because it still goes back to you end up being around the people in this time of life in college that have common interests and passions, and that leads you into perhaps where you're supposed to be in life and what you're supposed to be doing.
Right. I mean, you align with people that you enjoy being around, that give you energy, that want to see you succeed, and so finding those groups, I think, are so important. And then the opportunities that can come from that, you have no idea. It could be a future job. It could be an internship. It could be, joining a club that you didn't even know existed because of someone you met.
Yeah.
So, I think that's just so important. And I think it's hard because everybody's on their phones all day long, and after class they might have, they get into their routines. But I just say for the younger folks, you don't have to have it figured out, but just expose yourself to as much as you can so you can see what's out there.
Yeah.
You don't have to have it figured out by 20, 25.
Yeah.
People change careers all the time these days.
Definitely. So even if you do, study something in college and you get into, quote, the real world afterwards, and you figure, hey, this is not for me.
Right.
It's not too late.
It's true.
You can pivot anytime in your life. I have pivoted more times. I've made myself dizzy. So tell us where we can find more about the Alloy personal training, the podcast, the book, everything you've got going on.
So the book is on Amazon, and it's also ebook if somebody didn't want a hard copy. And then our Alloy personal training studio in Cary, our socials are Alloy Cary NC. And so people can get a taste of kind of what our environment is there. And then the Progress Zone podcast, it's on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, wherever you listen to your podcast.
Great. Thank you so much for being here today. Good luck with everything you've got going on, and congratulations on being a Maggie Award winner.
Thank you so much. I really enjoyed our conversation.
Thanks.
Thanks for listening to What's Up Wake with Melissa Wistahuff, presented by the publishers of Cary Magazine, Wake Living, and Main and Broad. Follow them on social media at Cary Magazine NC, at MB Magazine NC, and at Wake Living Magazine. Visit each magazine's website at carymagazine.com, mainandbroadmag.com, and wakeliving.com to check out the latest digital edition of each magazine and find pickup locations. Be sure to subscribe and leave a 5-star review to help others find us. Music provided by Angie Bagley and Chris Bagley. This show is produced by Podcast Cary.